Hey, what's going on, guys? Joe here, coming at you today from Clash Royale with a very special video for a subscriber new to Clash Royale. We are going to be making a basics video on how to defend, how to counter push and go on the offense, and really how to use a basic deck. We are under 500 trophies or playing just over 500 trophies, and really a lot of the things that you learn in the earlier stages of gameplay down in the Bone Pit and beyond will apply in later arenas with higher level cards or the epics and the legendaries. Alright, so we're going to be playing with the original deck that we started out the game with. Nothing added to the deck, no changes, maybe moved a card out, but we didn't really go for any of the big cards like the Witch or anything else like that. We are using the Giant, the Knight, the Archers, the Bomber, the Goblins, the Mini P.E.K.K.A., the arrows, and the fireballs. So we're going to be using these basic cards, and I'm going to try to go into a little bit more detail on how to use these cards, how to defend a massive push or some of the other cards that you might see down in these arenas, and hopefully you'll be able to pick up some fundamentals that will carry over as you climb up the ladder. Let's go ahead and get into some gameplay, guys. Alright, so you've already completed the tutorial at this point, and you understand the Princess Towers and the Crown Towers. So let's go ahead and first tip, allow your elixir to collect all the way to 10. Don't sit on that 10 elixir, drop a card. But first things first, one of the big mistakes here is never, ever send a spell at the Crown Tower and wake it up. Now he has to worry about the cannon from the Crown Tower assisting the Princess Towers. Alright, so your bomber can be used against skeleton armies like so, as well as goblins. Now you can drop your giant and use it as an offensive push with the addition of the bomber and the archer to assist it. Alright, we got a dragon on the opposing side, so we're going to go ahead, a baby dragon, and we're going to pull it in with the knight, and the knight is tanky enough to use in order to allow that baby dragon to be tied up long enough for the Princess Tower to take it out. Alright, so we're allowing him to cycle through his cards, and now we're going to play our Mini P.E.K.K.A. We could play it up there by the Crown Tower, but we're going to go ahead and keep this match going, that way we can run through the full cycle of his deck, and at this point we're memorizing what he has. So we're going to use our arrows here to take care of that skeleton army. And we've only seen about 4 or 5 cards at this point, and we're waiting to see what else we see before we play something, or we're just going to play something small. Alright, so he's going to go ahead and play his prince, and we're going to go ahead and bring it into the center there, pull it if you will, to tie it up and allow the Princess Towers to take it out. Alright, so now we've already cycled through our entire deck. We've seen most of his cards. And the only card here that has not been played is the Goblin Hut, which is a good thing because it can be quite annoying if you don't know how to counter it. We'll get into a replay with that here in a moment. For the rest of this replay here, we're going to continue to counter his deck. We are basically trapping him in his strategy and not allowing him to adjust his strategy to counter us. And that's really the point to be taken here, is once you've memorized what their cards are, what approaches they're going to take in order to advance on your Princess Tower, your deck is really lined up, cycled through to be able to counter everything that they have in their deck for the most part, and you'll be able to stop a offensive push on your Princess Tower just by simple pulling and blocking with the giant like what's being done here. So Skeleton Army is going to take down that giant. Arrow is going to take down the skeleton army, and we're going to go ahead and move out of this replay once the prince is dropped yet again. He's going to do it again. Alright, so let's go ahead and get some live action. Let's look at that deck as our elixir is accumulating. And we got a giant, we got a knight, bomber, and the fireball. We could play the giant right off the bat and go into an offense, but he's dropping spawners. So we're going to go ahead and use that bomber instead. You could place it left or right or back behind it, whichever, and take out the spawners. He's dropped a goblin hut, so we're going to go ahead and play the giant in the opposite lane. Use the fireball on the huts. That way it takes them down health, and it gets rid of those a lot faster than what they would if they were sitting there by themselves just cooking off. Spear goblins in this case. We've used archers in the opposite lane to assist with taking care of the goblins, and we're going to go ahead and use our knight to distract the spear goblins. That way they can't do any damage to our left lane Princess Tower. On the right side, the spear goblins aren't really getting a lot of damage off on our Princess Tower, so it's fine to let those circulate through. And now we've already cycled through our deck for the most part. We've got our giant back in the mix. Alright, so we're going to use that mini P.E.K.K.A here in the center of the arena and stop the baby dragon from advancing about 3 tiles out from the princess tower. You'll be able to do this, and the baby dragon's able to get 1 shot off there on our tower. Again, the goblins are back in the arena, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just trying to get our card cycle through, kind of see what he's doing here. He's kind of keeping me at bay at this point, but we're kind of seeing what he does and try to get a little bit of offensive push. Now, there is a better place to drop this giant opposed to where we are currently dropping it, and we'll get into that in the next replay. You do not have to play it so close to the bridge. It's actually better to play it back behind the crown tower, and we'll get into that here in a moment while we defend versus this giant. So to get rid of a giant, you can use goblins, but since the goblins aren't in rotation, we're going to use the archers and the bombers. The archers are going to take care of those minions, and then we're going to our bomber is going to take care of the goblins and the archers. Now, we threw those arrows a little bit earlier than we had planned. We were trying to anticipate the next group of goblins to come out. We're a little slow there, a little bit of a risky maneuver, but take note of the knight. I'm pre-staging it for a pull on the baby mini P.E.K.K.A, and take note of that exclamation point above its head. Due to timing here, we're able to pull that mini P.E.K.K.A into the knight, and we're able to get rid of that mini P.E.K.K.A. So now we're going to play that giant to distract all these spawner troops and not allow them to get in while we're trying to accumulate our elixir again. We're going to play the fireball on the mini P.E.K.K.A. So again, this attacker here kind of had me running around in circles here for a moment, and we did correct it by knowing the level of our fireball. So if you place your finger on the fireball when it's in rotation in your cycle, you can see how much damage a fireball can do to a crown tower or a princess tower. In this case, we just threw it, and due to the fact that that giant got 1 punch off on the princess tower, we know now that we're going to be able to win by using our fireball. So we're going to keep the baby dragons caught up in the center. We're going to use the knight again here to pull that baby dragon into the center there. And now we're going to go ahead and go for the win by throwing that fireball and winning the match. So there's a lot of different things that's going on in a match. It's just a matter of how you adjust on the fly. All right, so we're going to go ahead and play this match here where we're going to use our giant to get big offensive pushes. Our attacker here is going to start with a knight and a witch. It's going to put him in a serious disadvantage. We're going to play low elixir costing cards here to try to get a positive elixir gain by using the archers and the mini P.E.K.K.A to shut down the knight and that witch. But unfortunately, we lose those troops. Take note of where we placed our giant. The giant is going to travel down the left side, and look at the amount of elixir that we have opposed to what he has. We're going to use our bomber there to take care of the skeleton army, and we're going to use goblins to work on taking care of the giant. He is going to launch a fireball though, and it's going to take out our goblins, so we're going to play our archers to assist and try to get rid of that giant. But look at where our giant's at. It's all the way down on his side of the arena. He's going to play a bomber over there, so we're going to launch a fireball down there to take care of that bomber, and we're going to let our giant work. But at this point, the giant has already taken down that princess tower to almost just over 100 health. So this is where our focus is going to shift to the right lane now and go after that right princess tower. We do not have to worry about that left side. We're going to be able to get it. We can throw a fireball at the end of the match if it comes down to that point. All right, so with mini P.E.K.K.A is going to go down there and get stopped by a skeleton army. That's fine, no worries. We're going to use our arrows there to take care of the skeleton army, or some of it, because we were a little bit poorly timed there. And what we're going to do here is we're going to set up for a big offensive push in the right lane. He's going to play a spawner card in the goblin hut over there. Don't worry about it yet. We're going to use archers and let that work for a second. We're kind of setting up for the defense and the offense by placing the giant behind the crown tower here. And we're going to allow that giant to maneuver down, recouping on our elixir here. And you notice how the giant and all the troops skirt the princess towers. When it comes to archers, witches, and musketeers, you can use a fireball and launch it at a well-timed fireball to throw at the princess tower and engage and get damage on the witches or musketeers, whatever's coming at you like that. This also applies to wizards. But take note of that offensive push in the right lane, and we are going to take down that right princess tower very easily and almost unchallenged based off the cards that he had or what he was trying to play. He's also going to do it again. It doesn't matter though. We have 100 health points on the left side. We're going to go ahead and take care of that left side tower with a fireball. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this up and get into one final replay, a little bit more advanced gameplay. or higher arena, and that way I can explain or show you what it's like to trap a player in the rotation or memorize their cards and be able to play their strategy against them. Alright, so this is Higher Arena. This is my other account, and we're going to memorize his cards like I said before and kind of pre-predict what he's going to play next, which could be risky, but once you get them into a rotation, you can kind of justify what they're going to play next if you play your cards correctly, so to speak. Alright, so we got that Musketeer down, and we're going to team that Musketeer up with the Knight and try to make a decent offensive push, which is going to get shut down here by the Skeleton Army. So we've seen our first card, Skeleton Army, now a Minion Horde. So we know that he has a Skeleton Army and a Minion Horde. We're going to go ahead and counter. He also has the Fire Spirits. He has a Bomber. So we've seen, and the Clone Spell at this point. So we've seen a lot of cards, and now we're going to anticipate that Skeleton Army to come, Fireball, and go ahead and take care and take off a lot of health off that Princess Tower. Now, I'm not sure if he was exactly laughing at me, but I'm pretty sure he was laughing at himself because he knew he messed up and that I anticipated what he was going to do next. But we'll keep it going, though. Alright, so we got the Musketeer moving down, and now he's dropped his P.E.K.K.A. That's fine, because I have an Inferno Tower for that. So we're going to team up that Musketeer, Knight, and Fire Spirits to take care of the Minion Horde, and we're going to go ahead and take out his tower. So we've anticipated 2 cards that he was going to play right off the bat and stop it. Now, don't pay attention to where that Hog Rider was placed, because that was definitely a misswipe on my piece. And he's going to play the E-Wizard back by the Crown Tower, which is fine because we launched a Fireball, did damage to the E-Wiz as well as the Skeleton Army. And now we got the Bomber as well as the Minion Horde. We're going to use our our Fire Spirits here to take care of that Minion Horde. And he's going to play the P.E.K.K.A. along with my Hog. And that's perfectly fine because we're going to Musketeer off to the left, get some damage on that E-Wiz, take down the P.E.K.K.A., and now he's getting really frustrated. So, again, you see how you trap them into a rotation and play their weaknesses against themselves. Smash that like button, guys. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. I hope you got something out of this video, and thanks for watching.